They wanted a laugh, what they got was a lesson. So picture this, I'm 12, wearing a wrinkled apron 2 sizes too big, helping my mom serve tiny crustless sandwiches at this ridiculous mansion in Beverly Hills. The house belonged to Robert Whitmore, you know, the kind of guy who's got a wine cellar bigger than most people's homes and thinks that makes him interesting. My mom, Carmen, had worked there for years. Cleaning, cooking, nodding politely through their passive-aggressive orders. She kept her head down, always. That day, I tagged along to help her out. It was one of those charity cocktail parties, which is rich people code for getting drunk and feeling good about themselves. I was just coming out of the kitchen when Robert, lounging like a king in his leather throne, waved me over. "Sophia," he said, loud enough to shut down the room's fake laughter, "why don't you play something for us on the piano?" He gestured toward this grand Steinway like it was some party trick. I froze. My hands were still wet from washing dishes. Everyone was staring. And not in a friendly way. The kind of look that says, let's see what the help can do. His daughter, Victoria 16, dripping in gold and entitlement, laughed from the sofa. "Daddy, she probably thinks Chopin is a salad." Her friends snorted. A couple guests reached for their phones, sensing a viral moment. I felt my face burn, but I remembered what Mama always said: dignity doesn't ask permission. So I wiped my hands on my jeans and walked toward that piano like I belonged to it. Which, funny enough, I kinda did. See, what they didn't know was that I'd been playing piano since I was 4. Not on a Steinway, no. On a busted upright in the back of St. Michael's Church, 6 blocks from our apartment. Father Martinez let me in every morning at 5. That place smelled like mildew and candle wax, and half the keys stuck, but it was mine. Mama used to be a concert pianist back in Colombia, first violinist, actually, but here in the States? Her diplomas might as well been napkins. She cleaned bathrooms for people who couldn't read sheet music if their life depended on it. Anyway, I sat down, adjusted the bench, and looked up. Robert was smirking, swirling a glass of Pinot like he'd just sponsored a school recital. "Play something simple," he said. "How about Twinkle, Twinkle?" I tilted my head. "May I choose the piece?" That caught him off guard. "Be my guest," he said, all performative generosity. Victoria leaned in with her phone, still recording. "This'll be gold," she whispered. I took a breath. And played Chopin. Not choppy Chopin either. Real, delicate, aching Chopin. Nocturne in E-flat major. Every note pulled from somewhere deeper than technique, somewhere you only reach when you've been quiet for too long. My fingers moved on that piano like it was telling my story, not his. At first, they were still laughing. Then they weren't. By the second page, you could hear people swallowing. Phones lowered. Conversations died. Mama stood in the kitchen doorway, tears shining in her eyes. She knew this moment, she'd been waiting for it even longer than I had. Then, twist number 2 Dr. Patricia Williams, music critic for the Los Angeles Sentinel, walked in. She was early for dinner. She froze in the doorway like the music physically stopped her. She didn't say a word until the final note, and then she whispered, "My God." Gregory, still lounging, looked around like the moment was slipping out of his control. Because it was. Dr. Williams stepped into the room and said, "Where did you study?" I answered quietly, "Nowhere. Just church." Robert tried to laugh it off. "She's our maid's daughter, has a good ear, I guess." Dr. Williams stared at him like he'd just cursed in church. "That's not a good ear. That's a prodigy." Victoria's phone was still recording, but now it wasn't funny. It was a slow-motion train wreck for them. Because I wasn't done. "I'd like to play one more piece," I said. Something I wrote. Robert started to object, but Patricia cut him off. Let her. And I did. That second piece me own was called Invisible. It wasn't fancy. It didn't try to impress with speed or complexity. It just told the truth. About what it feels like to serve food to people who won't look you in the eye. About hearing your mom cry softly after a 12-hour shift. About the quiet fury of being underestimated, again and again, until you stop asking for permission to exist. The room changed. People cried. Patricia filmed. Robert shrank. When the last note faded, I looked straight at him and said, "That was for you." He didn't speak. Couldn't. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse for him, Patricia turned to Mama and said, "You're Carmen Morales, aren't you? First violinist of the Medellin Symphony?" That was it. Game over. The critic. The crowd. The whole illusion of superiority all shattered. That night didn't end with applause. It ended with understanding. And that lasts longer. Now I'm 16. I've played Carnegie. Signed to a label. That old church piano's in our living room now tuned, restored. Mama's conducting again. And Robert? Let's just say he learned what really makes someone invisible. It's not where they come from. It's what you refuse to see. So let me ask you something: how many Sophias are we all ignoring right now? Drop your thoughts below. I'll be reading.